Hello friends, I am Dr. Arupma Goel. Today I will give my video lecture on Anthoceros, which is a bryophyte. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel. Well, the systematic position of Anthoceros is it belongs to the class Anthocerotopsida, order is Anthocerotales, and the family is Anthocerotaceae. Now, my friends, Anthoceros has about 200 species. It is the largest and most widely distributed species among the class Anthocerotopsida. It occurs in both the tropical and temperate regions of the world. The plants grow mostly in the moist, shady places like riverbanks and the rock crevices. Some species grow on the decaying wood. The species of Anthoceros may be annual or they may be perennial. For example, Anthoceros fusiformis and Anthoceros himalayensis. The genus Anthoceros is represented in India by about 25 species. Some of the species of Anthoceros are Anthoceros erectus, Anthoceros crispulus, Anthoceros longi, Anthoceros goleni, etc. Now I will talk about the gametophyte. Well, the plant body is a gametophyte. It is dark green in color. It is dorsiventral and a prostrate thallus. The thallus is suborbiculate and lobed. It is long and pinnately divided in Anthoceros hali. The thallus is thick in the middle, but it is always without a sharply defined midrib. The dorsal surface of the thallus is smooth, for example, in Anthoceros laevis, or it may be rough, for example, Anthoceros fusiformis. The ventral surface of the thallus bears many unicellular, smooth-walled rhizoids. They are filled with a granular matter. The tuberculated rhizoids and scales are absent in Anthoceros. Well, now friends, I will talk about the internal structure of Anthoceros. The internal structure of the thallus is simple without any cellular differentiation. There is a distinct and continuous epidermis made up of comparatively small cells. The thallus is composed of thin-walled parenchymatous cells. Each cell of the thallus has one or more discoid chloroplast, or the chloroplast may be also oval in shape. The chloroplast contain many pyrenoids, which is a characteristic feature of the class Anthocerotopsida. Now friends, the thickness of the middle region of the thallus varies in different species. It is 6 to 8 cells thick in Anthoceros laevis, 8 to 10 cells thick in Anthoceros punctatus. There are no air pores or air chambers in the thallus of Anthoceros, and so it opens to the exterior on the ventral surface through narrow stromata like slits called the slime pores. These pores are formed by the partial separation of the two adjacent cells of the epidermis. The mucilaginous cavities are invaded by the colonies of nostoc, which is a blue-green algae. The filaments of this nostoc enter the thallus through the slime pores, and then they grow into definite colonies. But the presence of nostoc colonies in the thalli of Anthoceros is not considered a symbiotic association. Why? Because Anthoceros can grow normally even in the sterilized soil, and moreover there are no mucilaginous cavities in some of the thalli of Anthoceros species. Now my friends, I will talk about the reproduction. Anthoceros reproduces by vegetative and sexual methods. First of all, I will talk about the vegetative reproduction in Anthoceros. It occurs by progressive death and decay of the thallus. When gradual death and decay of the posterior part of the thallus reaches to the point of dichotomy, the lobes separate and each lobe grows into an independent plant. Then secondly, the vegetative propagation occurs by tubers. In many of the species of Anthoceros, for example, Anthoceros levis, tubers are formed during the unfavorable conditions or prolonged drought. These tubers store food and also function as a pollinating organs. Their position varies in different species of Anthoceros. Thirdly, the Anthoceros reproduces vegetatively by gamete. Some species of Anthoceros like Anthoceros glandulosus bear stalked structures on the dorsal surface of the thallus, and these are called as gamete. On separation from the parent thallus, gamete give rise to new plants. Then last, Anthoceros reproduces by persistent growing apices. Species like Anthoceros piersoni and Anthoceros fusiformis grow in areas where the summer season is usually dry. Therefore, during the summer, all parts of the thallus except the apical region become dry. These apical parts remain dormant during the dry conditions, and on the return of favorable conditions, the apical parts become active and form new thalli. In the next video, I will talk about the sexual reproduction in Anthoceros. Thank you, friends, for watching my video.